Today on Only Frames, we bring you another instalment of below average 8-ball pool content from the Ramsgate Rail Pool League Invitational. But this match, unlike no other, actually has something on the line. It's for the league title and it's between Chris and Joe. Chris remains undefeated for 2 years on league action within this format, but Joe has recently beaten him in a money match. But who will be crowned king of our division? Let us know your thoughts in the comments early doors on which way you think this game is gonna go. Now, Joe does have the greater task on his hands. He needs to win this match. It's best of 8 in his black ball rules, and Joe needs to win 5 frames. If Chris can find 4, then he will be crowned victor of Division 1 for the second season running. Now, I'll be honest, I'm a true romantic at heart and nothing would give me more warmth and joy than seeing Chris finally lose. I've had enough of it after all these years, so I for one am hoping that Joe can be the first man to defeat him, and if any man can, then it certainly will be Joe. But Chris is currently at the table. He's playing yellows and he's taken the early initiative so far, but for the first time today we're seeing Joe as he comes to the table. He can get his hand on and he's going to look to sink a red up to that top left hand pocket, which he's unable to do, but he's got himself a pretty safe cue ball. This won't be easy from here to Chris to try and pot his way out of trouble. If Joe does come back though, those reds aren't looking pretty whatsoever. 2 of them are touching the cushions pretty much on the left and right hand side, and add another one into the mix for that. This isn't going to be easy for Joe, but he'll be looking to sink this one just to settle his nerves. Who's going to hold their nerve longest as this game progresses? Joe won't be happy with that. He should be potting those balls, and this is Chris's first chance to get his first frame on the board. What will he look to play here? Pot this one to the bottom yellow, just going to roll it in. Does that one go along the bottom rail down to that bottom right hand pocket? It must do. But what's he going to do? Is he going to look to get creative with the cue ball, or is he just going to roll it in and take his chances trying to pot this one to the middle pocket? 2 choices. Is he going to take it long to the top right or into the middle? I think he'll take it to the middle. This will be a great pot if he can make it. How's your nerve? How's he queuing? He's queuing nice, and Chris is about to take a 1-0 lead. This is going to be an epic encounter. Who will come out on top as we join frame 2? We join the action of frame 2 late in the piece. Already many balls have been potted, and this must have been absolute dross if we've only joined it at this phase, and it isn't getting any better anytime soon. Chris, with a bit of foresight there, manages to flick the 8-ball off. He's feeling like he's in charge. Every time Joe makes contact with his reds, he pushes them further into Chris's fortress, and that isn't a euphemism. But when will Chris look to pounce? When will he look to strike? He continues with this safety battle, knowing that things aren't going to get any better for Joe anytime soon. Joe's going to need to take the ball by the horns, and Chris will certainly like that. He likes to be dominated in that department, but Joe fouls. That's a shot and a visit. Chris is going to clear these at the earliest opportunity. The horrible little bugger even leaves Joe's 2 reds down on that bottom cushion. So if he does get back to the table, then nothing's going to be on for that guy. But this is a real chance here for Chris. The cannons couldn't have worked out any better. They've all come out into the open, but that cue ball isn't on a string so far today. He's slightly up against it each shot. He's losing it by an inch or 2 each time, and he can't afford to lose an inch or 2, so I hear. And once again, he's falling out of position. He's hit that yellow and he's not where he wanted to be. He's not got the angle he wanted on this ball. He's going to look to play it into the middle though, and this will all be about cue ball control, but he's forgot to pop the ball, bringing Joe back to the table. But these 2 reds are safe. He's going to need to wizard up something from here, like Gandalf when he's got his stick in his hands in Lord of the Rings, and that's a PG version, not the ones that some of your dirty little minds would have seen online. He's going to need to come up with something, but he just flicks his balls out into the open and says to Chris, look mate, you're in charge of this frame. What can you do? I can't do much from where I am. And Chris misses a pot. If only Joe had managed to get that red further up the table, then it would have chipped into the middle and he would have had a chance to level up the scores. He's going to have to take this long, I'm sure, or maybe even play a double up to this top right hand pocket. Let's find out what he'll play here. Joe did play the double up to the top right-hand pocket, but it was a bit weighty if he was trying to take control of the pocket, and no doubt Chris will be looking to do the same here. Play this one from the cushion up to block the top right, which he does, and I think he's got second prize as well, and I don't think that's skill shots. It doesn't look lined up to me. If Joe's going to attempt it, he's going to need to be bang on it. Maybe pot this one to the middle, see where he can get the cue ball. He'll be looking to get a bit of gear onto that. It's not a bad attempt. How's your luck? That isn't too bad. He's got a shot on it. That's a pretty good shot from Joe. That's what he's capable of, but he's going to need two more good pots if he's going to win this frame from here. He's potted one red, and now he's on to the 8-ball. He's left himself a double maybe, but this isn't as easy as it should be. Is it going to double? Is he going to look to chip it to the mid, or is he going to even take it long? So many options, but none of them easy. He looks to take it to the middle. He can't sink it. He's presented Chris with the easiest chance to go 2-0 up. The balls aren't falling for Joe so far today. Will this be a story of the piece? Will it happen throughout? I, for one, certainly hope not. Chris is going to sink the 8. He goes 2-0 up as we move on to the third frame. As we join the action of the third frame, it's Chris at the table, and he's playing the yellow balls, and he's sinking one down to the bottom left, and he's shooing that cue ball on like a kid on his doorstep. Move on, move on. But it hasn't managed to go, making this pot trickier than it needed to be. He's going to look to send it long to the top right-hand pocket, but that's absolutely nowhere near. That is something you'd see me usually produce. Chris is better than that, I can assure you, giving Joe a chance to get his first frame on the board. As Joe comes to the table, he'll be looking to turn his fortunes round as soon as possible. So far, we haven't seen the best of him today, and maybe throughout the season we haven't either. Joe's a fantastic player, but he hasn't played for many a year. But I, for one, am glad he potted that first red, because nobody wanted to see him get 7-balled and have to run round the table with his pants round his ankles. Although it would have been great for content, as I'm sure the ladies would have been queuing up to see that. Now, all of a sudden, after one development shot and taking away his tricky ball, this looks like a real chance, and this is what Joe is capable of. Gonna look to play this one to the bottom right, but which ball would he play on after that? Has he even potted it? Just about. It manages to sink. He's going to maybe play this one to the middle. Little bit aside to try and get back on this last red. Yep, just held the cue ball. Nice shot. Now he's going to take this one long, and hopefully that 8 goes down to the bottom right-hand pocket. Or is he going to stun him behind it and take it to the bottom left? He stunned him behind it, but he's hit it too hard, and he's forgot to even pot the ball. That shot was bad all round, bringing Chris back to the table, who could go 3-0 up if he can find his first pot. But that first pot is going to prove even more problematic than I first thought it would be, because he's actually snookered. He's coming off 2 cushions. Can he pot that to the top left? He can't give in Joe another chance to get his first frame on the board. If he can do so, maybe his nerves will settle and we'll see the true title challenge that we've all been waiting to see. People are bored of watching Chris dominate. It's a dictatorship. He's monopolised only frames, but not anymore. It's 2-1 and it's game on as we move on to the fourth frame. As we join the action of the fourth frame, it's Joe at the table. He's playing the red ball, sinking a nice one down to the bottom right-hand pocket, but he isn't happy with that. He's tapping away at the table. He's frustrated so far today with the way he's queuing and the way he's playing, but that can change very quickly. If he can remain composed, just hang in there, form will find him. He's a great player. Now he's going to look to play that, going to develop his tricky ball, which he manages to do. He pots one and Chris along the way, which is absolutely fine in black ball rules, but he didn't manage to develop his own red, and he does have another tricky one, which is touching yellow up towards the top end of the table, next to this one that he's going to play. He's going to need to move that if he's going to clear these balls at any time, and he's looking to do so now. That's a great effort from Joe. All the gear and half an idea, but not the outcome that he would have wanted. Gonna look to play his tricky red now. Just flick off it, play a bit of safety. Scott will be sat there with his piece in his hand, having a great time after seeing Joe play one of those. Chris comes to the table. He's playing the yellow balls. He can't sink it top left, giving Joe an angle on that red. Can he come up with something from here? Let's wait and find out. This isn't going to be easy, but there's something on. He looked to double it, but it wasn't meant to be. He had to play it a bit harder to straighten it up because it wasn't the natural angle. And Chris can't find his angles either. He was looking to disturb them 2 yellows, but he was unable to do so. But he will have another attempt or two throughout this visit to try and do just that. But once again, that cue ball isn't on a string, and this isn't going to prove easy to try and disturb those 2 yellows. But if any man could do it on only frames, then it is probably Chris. He features more than any of us in making easy clearances look difficult, which is a short series that run on our YouTube shorts, our TikTok and our Instagram, which are going to now pop out on screen. And that's a superb shot from Chris. That was controlled. He's managed to get into them, but this still won't be easy. It's falling into the category. This could be a short in itself if he manages to take these balls out. Sinks out one to the bottom left. That cue ball's up the table, but it's actually a pretty good angle. Although when he's going to pot this yellow, he's going to cannon into that 8 ball. That is for sure, but how will his luck be? But that's like a night in with your stepsister. You don't want to be getting caught there, son. He's let everyone down as someone waves to the camera in the background. This won't be easy for Chris. Does it sink into the bottom left? I'm sure that's one of my fans coming to greet me, I'm sure. Chris manages to sink it. It's 3-1 to Chris, and what a clearance that was. We join the action of the 5th frame. As we join the action, Chris is breaking off, and how will Joe respond to a clearance like that from Chris? Chris has put it all on the table. He says, I'm here for the victory, my son, and I'm here to school you. You're the pupil and I'm the master. But who will come out on top as Chris manages to miss? Has he got overconfident? Can Joe punish him here? Chris hadn't actually potted a yellow ball, so Joe can come to the table and take them. They are the better ball, but can Joe clear up from here? Can he bring it back to 3-2? Can he keep this game alive? And can he keep his bid for the first title not to go to Chris on only frames to actually happen? There's myself leaving the venue. I've had enough. I've seen enough. These two aren't playing to the standard that I hoped they would. Joe's looking to sink one bottom right, which he manages to do so. As I stroll out the boozer, I've had enough. Can Joe clear from here? Will the standard improve now that I'm not putting the pressure on them? I'm sure that the weight of me watching them would want them to perform even better than they usually do. This isn't going to be easy from Joe, but all the time he remains at the table, an opportunity will present itself. He potted that one, but this now won't be easy. That cue ball's touching that yellow, but this one still goes bottom left. This could be a chance. All he's got to do is get onto that last ball if he can pot this one. He manages to flick off to the red. He flicks over to the right-hand side, which gives him the potting angle. But how will he get onto the 8? Will he just look to roll it through and then take it bottom left? I think he will. But this is not easy. How's your cueing? This is pretty straight. How's he cued this one? Very nicely indeed. And that's a great shot from Joe. But has the cue ball gone far enough? Can he see that 8 ball? He's looking down. I'm not sure. Might need a bit of swerve. Could he even cut it back to this bottom right-hand pocket? This will be some shot if he could. What's he going to play? He's looked to cut it. The red got in the way. I think that was going in. That's unfortunate for Joe. He brings Chris back to the table. 6 reds remain. What can he do from here? I reckon he's about to play his 3rd safety of the season so far. No, he's not. He's actually going to look to take on a pot, but he can't sink it. Is the pressure getting to him? Is Joe potting a few balls, putting Chris under pressure that he's not been exposed to before on this channel? Joe sinks the 8 ball down to the bottom right. It's 3-2, and once again it's game on. Joe to break in the 6th frame. As Joe breaks off, I believe the picture is starting to be painted. This is going to go down to the wire. I'm absolutely sure of it. But which way it will go, God only knows. Chris is finding the true meaning of a fairy tale. The adversity hits you slap bang in the middle. It doesn't happen at the start and it doesn't happen at the end. But how would he cope with it? Will he be able to dig deep and get his happily ever after with that league title for a 2nd season in a row? Joe decides to pot the yellows and these are all there. Can he clear them up and take it to 3-3? That's what the crowd want to see. Joe's starting to cue a bit nicer now. There's a bit more fluidity to it. And can he continue to do this? Will Joe start to feel the pressure if he manages to take it to 3 apiece? I don't know. So many questions and so few answers. But one answer we do know is that we appreciate all the interactions that we get off you guys. Some of you are pretty funny in the comments, but once again, as ever, I hate to beg, but don't forget to like, subscribe, let people know about our channel. We're here, we're the home of below average 8-ball pool, and if nothing else, we try and make you feel better about your own game. But I'm sure Chris and Joe won't be doing that today, as this standard is about average rather than below average. Those two prop the rest of us up. But what can Joe do from here? Can he play above average for this little section? He manages to pot that one. This now is a real chance. This could be it. He's going to need to chip this one into the left, but he needs to hold that cue ball to try and take that last yellow to the bottom right. He's sort of overrun it. That's a bit harder than it needed to be. He's got an angle though, little screw in behind. He's going to need to take the 8 to the opposite pocket. No, he managed to cannon into it. I thought he was going to come the other side of it, but he managed to hold. And this looks now a dead certainty to be 3 apiece. We have got ourselves a game, and this is for the league decider. What is going to unfold? Chris breaks off in the 7th frame. He manages to pot one, so he'll remain at the table to decide which colour he wants to be. Now, once again, a reminder to all of the league standings as they unfold. Joe needs to win both of these frames, while Chris only needs one more to be crowned victor. Joe had drawn a game earlier in the season when he was hanging off like anything, and he managed to only draw, whereas Chris has won all his other games. These two can only really beat each other. The rest of us are just cannon fodder in the league. But can Chris hold his nerve here? Can he get to 4 nice and early? If Joe was to win this frame, how will Chris respond? He'll be really up against it, knowing that whoever wins a 1-frame shootout will be crowned the league champion. But will it be a new name on the trophy this year for 2025, or will we see Chris's name on there once again? He's at the table, so his destiny's in his own hands, but that cue ball once again has got away from him. He's going to look to swerve. His butt's in the air. Ooh-wee! Pretty nice swerve. He manages to hit it, but he can't pot it, bringing Joe to the table, knowing that he needs to win both. He can't afford to make any more mistakes. Will he look to play safe here? There is so much on the line, it wouldn't surprise me. We all revert to tight when we need to, when we're up against it. Joe's not actually that kind of player though, so he went for the pot. He was unable to make it, but he hasn't left Chris with an easy chance, as Chris has a very problematic ball on the left-hand side of the table, which only probably goes into a pocket or two, but you need to get onto it nicely, and he was never going to be able to do that from the angle he was left by Joe here. Joe's coming to the table. He's going to look to pot a few of these reds, but he's got a few problem balls himself. The 2 reds at the top of the table aren't going to be easy. When's he going to look to play on them? Is he going to look to play now? Probably not from there. That's quite a long shot, but he looks like he's going to take it on. This guy lives by the sword, but will he die by the sword like nasty Nick Bateman in Big Brother 1? And what a series that was. What was your favourite series of Big Brother? I was a massive fan. Big Brother 1 for me was the greatest ever. I could tell you nearly everything about it. I enjoyed every minute and used to watch it live on E4. That says more about me than anything else. What a loser I've become. But Joe's not looking to be a loser anymore. He's looking to be a victor. Now only 2 reds for a 4-3 lead and his chance to win the league title. What is going to unfold here? This is a massive pot. This to lead, this to be on the hill, but both players are on that said hill. He manages to roll it in. This 8 for bottom left. Joe's going to be leading. We're going down to a 1-frame shootout for the league title. It's the 8th frame. It's our last frame. Who is going to win? Let us know your thoughts in the comments now. Joe's playing yellows and Chris is playing reds. Let's see what unfolds in this drama. After 15 games each since this league begun in the group stages, it has all come down to a 1-frame shootout. Who wants it more? Who wants to be crowned champion for 2025? To live the high life, to receive the plaudits that they will get. Their lives will never be the same after this. But who wants it more? Who's willing to leave it all out there? Who's willing to put it all on the line? Let us know what you think in the comments. Who do you think is going to win this frame? Let us know now. No cheating. Don't scroll to the end just so you can say, I knew that they would win because you'd already seen it. We don't want any of that. But let's get back to the action. Joe's playing the yellow ones. Chris is about to come to the table. Chris has 6 reds remaining. Joe has 2 yellows. Who will be crowned our victor? I, for one, I'm excited at the prospect of who it may be. So let's find out. As Chris looks to double one of those reds over towards that top right-hand pocket, he's played a safety. How embarrassing, the amount of grief he gives Scott, yet he's doing it when it matters most. Maybe we've just not needed Chris to play many safeties throughout the season because the rest of us are so bad. Joe manages to foul there. Chris has got ball in hand and this could be his chance. But does he have the capacity to take it? Plays a double. He manages to pot it. That didn't need to go in because he had a shot and a visit anyway. And all of a sudden, this is a real chance. You can tell, though, the pressure is building. I'm sure his bum is going 5p, 50p. His hand will be twitching. He will be shaking. He's never been under this pressure before. Pulls his trouser up. Doesn't want to make an arse of himself within this moment. Goes down on the shot. 4 reds remaining. Gonna look to sink this one to the top left-hand pocket, which he does very nicely indeed. These are all there, but they're not easy under this pressure. Will he be able to hold it together? Gonna look to play this one, which is closest to him. No, he's changed his mind. He has changed his mind. He's going to look to play the one closest to the pocket, come back across, and then take the one he was originally down on. But he's lost the cue ball. That is on the cushion, and this isn't the best angle to get onto that last red. This is harder than it needed to be. These can be missed in pressure situations, but not for Chris. He's used to pressure. Pressure is for tyres, and Chris is a tyre. He's soaking it all in. He knows it's now there. He is on the hill. Only 2 balls remain for him to be crowned our victor. He's not even tried to play position on the 8. This is really getting to him. This is dicey. This is for the title. Can he sink it? Can he hold his nerve? Yes, he can. Chris is our champion for a 2nd year in a row. The game finishes 4-4. Thanks for watching. What a season it's been. It come down to a 1-frame shootout.